Hi friends, welcome to episode 136 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Kalisha and you can find me anywhere online as Nadira Tani. I am coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, and it has been quite a while since my last video. So if you are new, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for hanging in there while I was MIA. Um, da-da. Okay, I had a little bit of coffee, literally a tiny little bit, right here in my new mug. I thrifted this last week maybe, and I love it. It was $1 and it's beautiful. Love, love. It's been a while, and I want to say thank you first to the people who have reached out to check on me. That made me feel so good. It's been a month. It has been a very heavy month. So we'll talk about that later. But thank you for reaching out, for sending me messages, for just still being here. Like, thank you. And Happy New Year. As today is Sunday, January 31st, we are a whole month into 2021. And I remember saying, hey, 2021, when you come in here, I'm going to just need you to sit down and be quiet and don't touch nothing. And 2021 was like, you ain't my mama, you don't tell me what to do, and came up in here kicking things over. It's okay. It's okay. We in it now. We in it. 31 whole days in it. So, Happy New Year. I hope that you are able to make this year good. So let's get into some admin things, because there's plenty of admin that needs to be addressed because I was gone for a whole month. And it's been more than it's been like a month and a half since my last podcast, I think. And a month since my last video. So in December, I think I did one podcast, and I did Vlogmas. And this was the first Vlogmas that went completely off the rails. I mean, I got all the way to Kwanzaa. Your girl got all the way to Kwanzaa. And I think it was probably day 2 or 3 of Kwanzaa when all of the shiz hit the fan, and I couldn't manage continuing to film and handle all the things that life was throwing at me at the same time. So the last video of Vlogmas is like a compilation of bits and pieces of the previous, like the last couple days of the year. But to everybody who stuck with me through Vlogmas, thank you so much. It's fun. Like, it's a fun thing to do. Life just got real. Realer than normal. But, we're here. We're back. And hopefully I'm going to be able to get back into the consistent filming and posting. I'm trying to get, like, I fell off of everything. Like, Instagram was a ghost town. I looked at, like, even now, I haven't posted on Instagram for 3 days. And I used to be really good at keeping my Instagram up to date with what I'm doing or what I'm making, what I'm planting and stuff like that. And I've been in that space where you like have no motivation for anything extra. And everything except for checking on my family and clocking in for work has been extra. So today I feel good. Like I feel like there's a little bit more motivation in me, which is excellent. So hopefully that means that I'm coming out of that space, because I really hate being in that space. Like I really hate it when my mood tanks and I have no energy and I have no motivation to do anything and I would rather just stay in the bed. Like I don't like being in that space, because I know that those are like the harbingers of a downward spiral. And I would rather not experience that again. So whenever I realize that I'm in this kind of trash space, I'm always like, all right, girl, what do we need to do to get out of it? How can we sidestep this thing? So wasn't exactly able to sidestep it, hence the month, but I'm feeling a little better now. So we're going to hold on to the fact that I'm feeling a little better now, and we're going to do this thing. Because if I do not film this today, who knows how much longer it's going to be until I film again. So here we are, episode 136, New Year, Quirky Monday Craftcast. We here, we crafting, we buying all the plants, which we will talk about later. Let's get it going. Admin. So I think it was in my last podcast, so a month and a half ago, that I drew a winner for Mina Phillips' cowl book, her colorwork cowl book. And that winner did not get back in touch with me. So before I filmed this, I drew another name, another name from that pool. And it is actually Rosamond. I think her name is Roz. And her favorite color combination was peach and aqua, which I kind of love that. So I might have to steal that for something in the near future. Putting that on my list of things to do. But anyway, Rosamond, send me a DM on Instagram, an email to quirkymonday@gmail.com. Let me know that you saw this, so I can pass your information on to Mina and you can get a copy of that book. So, redraw done. Next admin bit is the Mr. Grinch Mal. So, that make-along ended an entire month ago, and we are now going to draw for those winners. Before this video, I used random number generator to pull winners from Instagram, from the Instagram hashtag, which was hashtag Mr. Grinch Mal 2020. Yes, Mr. Grinch Mal 2020. I counted up all of the entries that were not mine. And I used the random number generator. I think there ended up being 42 entries. So originally I was only going to pull 2 winners, but then I felt guilty for it being a month late. So I pulled 4, and I'm going to read. Well, first I'm going to show you the prizes, and then I'm going to read you the winners. Each one of the winners is going to get a Grinch coloring book and a skein of yarn and a progress keeper. So the progress keepers are ones that I made myself. And the yarn I pulled from my stash, and these skeins somehow represent the Grinch for me. Okay? So first we have Zombie Yarns by Lorna Dies Again. It doesn't have a colorway name. I think the number is 1508. But this and this is the, oh, okay, here we go. This is the progress keeper that's coming with it, and this is the skein. So of course, when I bought this one originally, I got it from the stash sale that they have at Four Pearls Yarn Shop down here. And I picked it up because it just immediately said Grinch to me. You've got the Grinch green, you've got the yellow for his eyes. Mr. Grinch. So this is going to be prize number 1. This one is prize number 2. This is Yellow Door Yarn Company. And this is the progress keeper I'm putting with this one. This one, oh, the colorway for this is Snowstorm. Now this one reminded me of like the Grinch after he learns the true meaning of Christmas. So you have some green speckles in here. They're not really showing up green on screen, but you've got some green speckles and then the blue speckles for his blue eyes when he learns the true meaning of Christmas and, you know, his heart grows 3 sizes that day. Yeah. The next yarn is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering and Spectrum Hand Painted. And this is its progress keeper. Hello? Turn around. Oh, come on, hands. There you go. And this one is Whoville, right? Am I right? This is Whoville. Yes. The last one is this. This is Hue Loco yarns in the Fool's Gold colorway. And this one reminds me of Max. So like I said, I pulled these from my stash. Some of them I purchased myself, and some of them, well, actually, I purchased this one. I won this one as part of a make-along. And both of these were donations from podcast viewers. So there we go. These are going to be the 4 skeins of yarn that will be given to these 4 lucky winners. So, like I said, I use random number generator. There were 42 entries on Instagram. And the first number that was pulled was number 18, who is Instagram user broccoli.gif or gif. Everything will be on the screen. Number 2, or the second winner, is number 40, who is Jackie DeBose. Third winner is number 36, who is Katsuko.knits. And the fourth winner is number 27, who is Crafts Untold. Again, that is broccoli.gif, Jackie DuBose, Katsuko Knits, and Crafts Untold. So, if you all will send me a message on Instagram, I'm at Nadira Tani over there, which y'all probably already know. Send me a message on Instagram letting me know, hey, I'm a Mr. Grinch Mal winner, woo woo woo. And let me know your, like, if you have a preference. Of course, I cannot promise that you will get your preferred yarn depending on how fast, you know, everybody responds. So, yay. Yeah. I'm so happy to be able to actually, like, share Grinchy yarn. And it's not, like, obviously Grinchy, but this is the kind of stuff that I love. Like, whenever I have something like the Mr. Grinch Mal, and I say, you know, use a yarn that is Grinchy in some way. If you can make it Grinchy, then it's good. So none of these yarns are, like, named Grinchily. None of these yarns are Christmas or holiday inspired. Only this one here is even winter inspired. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. I want y'all to be able to look at a skein of yarn and be like, okay, this can be this because I say so. So, Mr. Grinch mail is done. Hallelujah. I hate having things looming over my head, and that was really looming. Next piece of admin. We have another mal coming up, and I really would love to take a break from mals just because I know that it's a lot of engagement that is called for, and I'm not entirely 100%, but I don't want to miss it because this is, I don't know if this is my favorite mal of the year or my second favorite. I don't know. It's my favorite. So, the next mal is the Pisces season make-along. So I will put in the info over here. Do I need to scoot over farther? Editing Kalisha, I'm sorry if I didn't scoot over far enough. The Pisces season make-along is running from February 18th to March 19th this year. You can do any Pisces or marine life water themed pattern, or use anything that's like ocean inspired with the colors or anything like that. Like, it's real loose. Y'all know that I do very loose rules when it comes to my make-alongs. But the primary colors for this make-along are blues and greens. Whips are welcome as long as they're less than 50%, and all art forms are welcome. However you make it Piscean. Let me see. Is there anything else? No, that's it. So you can do a Pisces or water themed pattern, a Pisces or water colored medium, any type of medium. I actually have a painting / drawing that I did that I'll show you guys later on. And that would be something that would qualify for the Pisces season make-along. But however you can relate it to Pisces water-loving stuff, there you go. So that's going to be starting soon. I am super excited about it. Yes. If you are a maker of things, and you would like to donate prizes, let me know. You can send me a message on Instagram or send me an email to quirkymonday@gmail.com. And there's one more piece of admin that I just want to let you guys know that I'm doing once again. I am participating in the Out of the Darkness Suicide Awareness Walk. It's taking place, I think, February 6th. Is that the Saturday? One moment. Yes, it's taking place on February 6th, and I have a link where you can donate to the cause of suicide awareness. I have participated in this walk for the last 2 years with one of my friends, and I always like to extend participation to you all. In past years, what they've done during the walk, they had a big wall, like a memory wall, where you could write loved ones' names who you've lost to suicide, put encouraging messages, things like that. So they had those the last 2 years, and what I did was I asked if you all wanted to share a name with me or share someone with me that I could put on the wall for you. I don't know if they're doing the wall this year, because of Rona, but if they are, then I will, put the Quirky Monday family names up. If they are not, then what I will do, and what I kind of did last year also, was as I was walking, pull up the names of our loved ones who we've lost to suicide and just read over the names and, said prayers for the families, sent good vibes to the families, what have you, as I was walking. So that is something else that I'm doing that I want to include you all in. I know that a few of us, especially from last year and the year before that, when people were sharing their stories with me, a few of us have been touched by suicide. If it's not a family member or a friend or a personal struggle or anything like that, it is that quiet monster creeping through a lot of our lives. And I just want you all to know that I am here, and I'm always wanting beautiful things for you, and I'm always wanting good things for you and positive things for you. And if there is a struggle that you're going through, I want you to know that I want you to keep going. You know, I want you to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I know, I can't remember, I think it was the year before last. I don't know. Last year was a blur. So I think the year before last was when I did the suicide awareness bags for Quirky Monday Crafts. And we had our messages, our keep moving forward and refuse to sink and I am enough. And these are things that I kept telling myself, whenever I would have downswings or anything like that, I would hold on to these phrases like lifesavers. And I hope that something that I say or share can be a lifesaver for you. So if you would like to donate to the Out of the Darkness Suicide Walk that I'm doing next Saturday, there's a link in the down bar. If you would like to share a story with me, you can share it in a direct message on Instagram, or you can send me an email to the same email that I've mentioned a couple times. I want to specifically remember our loved ones. And that is everything for admin. This is going to be an entire mess to edit, but I'm going to do it. So, finished items, things that are all done. 1, I have completely fallen in love with cozy socks. Right? I don't know why, because it's Florida and Florida doesn't get really cold, but I've evidently been in Florida long enough that I don't know how to handle anything below 60. We had a couple days where it was in the 40s and I was just like, oh, what is this treachery? What? I was a mess. But I have been living in my green Grinchy socks. A couple years ago, I knit these green socks, and they're like my Grinch socks, and I've been living in them. And so, since I have been living in them, I decided I should probably knit a couple other pair. So, I think right now, I have 3 pair of worsted weight socks. I have the Grinch ones, which are... well, no, there's a DK weight. Anyway, I have the DK weight Grinch ones. I have these. They're I don't know, like a light worsted weight. But both these socks and the Grinch socks are 100% wool. And then my third pair it's a wool blend. I can't remember what it is though, but it's definitely not 100% wool, and I'm pretty sure there's acrylic in them. But I only have those 3 cozy socks, so I needed to make some more. And here they are. These are, they have heels. And I didn't weave in the ends because I don't weave in ends. I just tuck them into the socks and then they get tangled around my toes and then I regret that decision. Anyway, these are knit from, what is this yarn called? This is Patton's Socks. It's like DK Superwash Classic Wool, something like that. But it's 100% wool superwash. And I think this base is discontinued because I can't find it anywhere. And when I purchased this originally, it was on clearance. So I got a bunch of them on clearance, and then I got some, I think, from a D-stash that Adrian of the Freakish Lemon was having. So I have enough of this type yarn to knit, I don't know, like 3 more pairs maybe. But they have different color toes because I was just knitting along, minding my own business, and I looked at the Grinch socks that I was wearing and they have yellow toes. And I was like, was this a design choice or did I run out of yarn? And I was like, it was probably, a design choice. And as I got further down the foot, I was like, nah, bruh, you ran out of yarn. So then I had to find a yarn that was what and what, with the purple. And of course, none of the other types of yarn, that's the same kind of yarn, none of the other colors were what I wanted to use with this purple. I have like a dark green, a light green, a yellow, and a red. And I didn't want that on any of these. So I used Patent Croy socks. Yeah, whatever the sock yarn is. Patton's Croy sock, something. Anyway, yeah, in the white. And because this was a fingering weight, I thought, okay, fingering weight, I need to hold double so that I get a DK weight. And then I knit a whole toe with it held double, and that thing was bulletproof. So I ripped it out and just knit it single, which tells you, which shows you how thick of a fingering weight this actually is, because this is DK and then this is the fingering, and you can't really tell a difference at all. Even, when you run your fingers over it, it is a little bit thinner, but it is barely noticeable at all. So I have these, and I already have another pair on the needles. My toes are gonna be so cozy here in Florida where it's January, and I'm pretty sure there's some days next week where it's supposed to be in the 80s, and here I am knitting thick cozy socks. I'm a grown-up, I can do what I want. Okay, the next finished object that I have is a sewing finished object that I whipped up last night. So this one comes with a prayer request. So I made this pillow for Lamar, and it's because, he is a Buccaneers fan. And the prayer request is for me, because the Super Bowl is coming up, and the teams in the Super Bowl are the Buccaneers and the Chiefs. So my husband is a Buccaneers fan, and my father is a Chiefs fan. My dad has already been talking smack to Lamar, like, oh, that's a really nice, like, I sent him a picture of the pillow. He's like, oh, that's a really nice second place pillow. And he's like, it's all right. I'm sure the Bucks are a great team, but they're gonna lose. And Lamar is all over here like, no, they're not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm just gonna wear a red shirt and smile. Yep. I don't watch football. Anyway, so I made this. This fabric, it's a fleece. I got it. It was actually a remnant. This is the entire remnant that I got from Joann's. And Lamar likes it. He actually slept on it last night, and it made me feel really, really warm and fuzzy on the inside. My dad said that I should put the Chiefs logo in the middle. And I said, do you want me to get a divorce? When I told Lamar that my dad was a Chiefs fan, I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And he said, leave and cleave, babe, leave and cleave. So yeah, football. I made a thing. The next finished object is the last finished object that I have that I can show you. The very last finished object I'm going to have to put in like video or something because it's in the garage. But I bought a sketchbook, and one of the things that I want to do more of this year is drawing, painting, like really getting back into visual art. I know I said this some point last year, but didn't happen. So this is the first piece that I put in this sketchbook. And like, this is the piece that I was telling you guys would definitely qualify for the Pisces season make along. And it says ocean. So the reason, or the story behind this piece is I called my best friend and, you know, just to catch up and talk and kind of talk to her about all of the things that was happening in my life that was really having me feeling stressed out and overwhelmed and right? And we were talking about prayer. And I said, whenever I'm praying about things, I always remind myself that in the grand scheme of things, or I say to myself that in the grand scheme of things in the world, I am a drop in the ocean, right? I am a drop in this ocean of humanity that is reaching out to God in some way. And she interrupted me and she said, I feel like I should reframe what you just said and say, remind you that you may see yourself as a drop in the ocean, but God looks at you and sees the ocean in a drop. And I'm about to cry right now, listen, like recounting this. But that statement stuck with me, and it just kept rolling over and over in my head, just kind of like, Kalisha, like, you are so important to God, and you should not feel like you don't matter, like God doesn't hear you or any of those things because you're a drop in the ocean. But you are so important to God that He sees everything. He sees everything in you, everything of you, and the ocean that is you. He sees that thing. And so, yeah. I don't know if any of y'all needed to hear that, but there you go. You may feel like a drop in the ocean, but to God, you are the ocean in a drop. So that is this piece. I used like watercolor markers, which I've only used a couple times, like watercolor brush markers. I've only used them a couple times and I kind of hate them. So I'm probably not going to continue using them. But the ink in here is dip pen ink, which I will talk about in Stashquisitions, because that's actually a pretty cool thing that I want to show you guys. So that is my last finished object that I have to show you guys right now. My last finished object is a storage bin. Not a storage bin. It's like a suitcase trunk. I will put like pictures and stuff of it, but I went to some thrift store a while ago, and while I was walking around, I saw this red trunk with like a latch and a suitcase handle and everything. And I was like, oh, this will be really cute. And I immediately thought I can put all of my Grinch stuff in it. Spoiler alert, I have more Grinch stuff than will fit in there. I put most of my Grinch stuff in it, but I still had overflow. But this bin, or not bin, I keep calling it a bin. This trunk had like blue paper on the inside, so I ripped out the blue paper, and then I took tacky glue that I got from the Dollar Tree. I think I used probably a total of 3 bottles of the tacky glue, and I used tissue paper. I used solid red tissue paper and like a buffalo check tissue paper, and I cut them up into squares, and I just kind of went to town. And this was another one of those projects that I did when in the midst of feeling like trash, because it was very easy for me to just paint on glue and put down a piece of tissue paper and paint glue over it and put down another tissue paper. And it was just really meditative, jack that word up, and like calming for me to do this little thing. So I covered the whole inside and the whole inside of the lid. Of course, cleaned up the outside and everything because it was a little bit gross. What else did I do? And then after I finished layering, like basically decoupaging all of the tissue paper on the insides, I did a couple final coats of the tacky glue over the whole thing to seal everything in. And then I let it dry, and when December was over, I packed as much of my Grinch stuff in the box as I could, and I have a video of trying to close it. But the vast majority of my Grinchy stuff did fit in that box. All of my Grinch stuffed animals are in there except for, where is he? Oh, he's like behind me. Oh, except for that guy, because I want to keep the dancing Grinch out. Yeah, but it was really cool to be able to find this trunk at the thrift store and freshen it up and give it a new reason to live. I really do want to do more like thrift flips, but I don't know. I just never really see much inspiration when I'm in there. Like, this was the first like flip thing that I've really done in quite a while. But I really enjoyed it. It's in the garage now, and it'll be back out next Grinch season. That is everything for my finished objects. And I'm sorry, I keep moving around because I'm sitting on this little bench and I want to put my feet up, but it's not comfortable. That's everything for my finished objects. And now we have the works in progress, which are all of them in here? No. My 2 main works in progress are in this bag, and this bag is it's by Bent On Handmade, and it was actually given to me as a gift by a podcast viewer, so thank you very much. And it's huge. Like, I did not expect this bag to be this big. I mean, she said it was a big bag, but to me, like, big bags are like this big. And so I was chatting with her, and I was like, oh man, what can I put in here? And I said, I was like, oh, it's big enough for a blanket. I should start a blanket and put it in there. And she said, well, we both know you're not going to finish it. And I was like, oh no, I'm called out. So I did the only thing that I could do. I started a blanket. And it's not a blanket for me, so it will get finished. And I have 2 blocks of this blanket done. Where's my phone? So my best friend's older sister sent me a message asking if I could make a blanket like this for her daughter. And of course I had to say yes. This is the blanket. So I looked for a pattern. I couldn't find a pattern that I liked. So what I'm going to do, or what I'm doing, is making it up. So I have she wants me to use white, gray, and lavender. So I'm going to make a 3x3 blanket, because also she doesn't want it to be like bed size. She says she kind of wants it just to be like a snuggle blanket for her daughter as she like gets older. Her daughter is like less than 6 months old. Like, this is baby. So this is actually the second block that I made. And I am just doing different textures. So this one is a basket weave, a 2x2 basket weave. And the first one is a 4x4 basket weave. So you can see like the basket weave texture better on that one. And I am figuring out the third white block. Now the hard thing about this is trying to come up with texture patterns that I like, that are not overly involved, because I want to keep going with this project. And you know, when you operate on less than a full tank of motivation to begin with, you can't be doing cables and whatnot. You got to keep it simple. Super simple. So yeah, what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the same 3 textures on each color, and then use probably either the lavender that I have or a darker purple to join them together and then put an edge around it. I'm keeping it super simple because I want to get it finished. So those are the first 2. Here's the third one is just a little worm. I'm starting them all with a foundation double crochet instead of a chain and then double crocheting into the chain, just because I want to practice my foundation crocheting. So that was the white, and all of this yarn that wasn't true. The white and the gray are from Stash. I did buy the purple or the lavender because I didn't have any. So here's the gray. And then here's the lavender. So that is going to be the baby blanket that is living in this giant bag. And oh, as you saw, this is Red Heart Super Saver. This is Lion Brand Pound of Love. Red Heart Super Saver. And yeah, I'm using what size crochet hook am I using? I'm using a 5mm crochet hook that stays in the bag because I will lose it. And yeah. So there's that blanket. I'm not giving myself a deadline for getting this finished. Yeah, it's just, this has actually been the project that I work on when I'm just sitting watching TV. I'm still binge watching Criminal Minds, and I started watching the 5th season of The Magicians on Netflix. I love that show, and I might start it all over again, but I really like that show. But yeah, so that is one of the projects that I work on when I'm binge watching and just kind of vegging out. The other project that I work on, another pair of cozy socks. So this is, again, Patent Troy Classic Wool Worsted. So do bear in mind, if you do knit socks with this, do not wash them. Like hand wash only, lay flat to dry. This will felt. So I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. I normally don't put my socks just loose in the laundry. I have like hand knit socks that wash together. But yeah. So this one actually has a fun story. So I wasn't intending on starting a pair of orange socks when I did, but I went to Joann's to pick up something, a punch needle, because surprise, I'm trying that again. I went to Joann's to pick up a punch needle, walked in the store, realized I left my coupon in the car, went back to the car, picked up the coupon, locked my keys in the car. And as soon as the door shut, I realized my grave mistake. But luckily enough, I had gone, it was like maybe 5:30 when I went. So I called Lamar, and he was like, all right, well, I'm leaving school in a little bit. I'll drive over there and unlock the car for you. So I was like, all right, cool. And it would be the one time I leave the house without my knitting. So what do? You buy a ball of yarn and a set of knitting needles at Joann's and sit on the hood of your car and begin knitting a pair of socks. Yeah, but it was really nice outside, so it was actually not a bad experience at all. And another blessing, after Lamar came and unlocked the car, we had to go back into Joann's to get him something. Had to pick something up for him for a project that he was doing. But when we came back outside, it started raining. And I was just like, thank you, God, for not letting it rain on me whilst I was sitting outside. So that was nice. Anyway, another pair of cozy socks. I got through the heel last night, and now I'm just going to knit the foot. I should have enough to just do a solid foot with this. This is plenty yarn. I may even have leftovers because I didn't make the leg super long. I think it's about the same length as these. Yeah, these are about the same length. So yeah, just knitting along, vanilla. So I just keep going. I did, how many rows did I do in this cuff? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. I did 15 rows in the cuff, 30 rounds on the leg. I did a short row wrap and turn heel to 8 stitches, I think. And there are 48 stitches around. I'm using a 3.5 millimeter hook. Yes, hook. 3.5 millimeter knitting needle. Yeah, and that's it. So that's another like potato chippy project that's also hanging out in this big bag, traipsed around the house with me. I've been knitting on those in like video meetings and stuff for work. Yeah, and those are the works in progress that I have that are actually being worked on. I still haven't finished my Grinchy eye socks that I was doing for the Mr. Grinch Mal. I have one sock done, and the other sock is like a little bit into the leg, not to the heel yet. So there's work to do on those. I just don't feel like knitting on fingering weight socks right now. It's fine. The next section is maker plans. And I mentioned earlier that I bought a punch needle, and I am going to try this again. I tried punch needling probably maybe 2 years ago, and I did not enjoy it at all. I didn't like it. It wasn't pleasant. But I think maybe it was the type of needle I was using, because it was one of those teach yourself to punch needle kits from Walmart, and the needle was like very thin and it was uncomfortable to hold, whatever. So I was like, this is trash, I don't want to do this. And then watching internet videos, I've been seeing a lot of people getting into making rugs, and they're doing punch needle but with a really thick needle. And I thought, you know what, that might be more the punch needle situation that I want. So I picked up a punch needle and some monk's cloth. And when I was looking for the monk's cloth in the embroidery section, they had this pack that was like $40. And I thought, I don't know if I'm $40 invested into this thing. So I did not buy that. And when I'm in Joann's, I always check the remnants, and there was a remnant of monk's cloth in the bin. So I got that. And the remnant was almost a yard. And I'm not going to make anything huge right now anyway. So that little bit, it's probably about 3/4 of a yard. So 3/4 of a yard of monk's cloth is going to give me plenty practice to see if this is actually something that I want to do. And if I determine yet again that it's something that I don't want to do, I tried it, you know? So, yeah. I would also like to throw some blame over on Susan of the Knit Lib podcast, because she has been doing a lot of really awesome punch needling, and whenever she shows her videos, she has like this huge punch needle situation in the background, and she's always doing something, and she just makes it look so pleasant that I was just like, maybe the first time I tried it, it just was terrible, but maybe the second time it'll be different. So this is partially your fault, Susan, but it's okay, because yes. Speaking of Susan, we're going to go ahead into Stashquisitions. You can't see it right now, but there is rainbow window film on this window. Thanks to Susan. She totally enabled me to go on Amazon and find this rainbow window film so that I can have more rainbows in my workspace. And I am completely in love with it. So yeah, I don't even think, oh no, I'll put in a video, because I put a video up on Instagram of rainbow time. And in addition to the window cling film, I have, can you see these? No, you can't see them, but these are like prism things, jewels, doodads. But when the light comes through this window, and it always comes through this window around like between 2:30 and 4 is like prime rainbow time. And I have some hanging from the window, and then I recently put 2 on this stake that I have my Adansonii on. And these make the illest rainbows. Like, I thought the ones that the window ones made, because they're like right up against the window, so they kind of throw, you know, rainbows. But these, I don't know if it's the angle that the sun be hitting them, but they just be like, pia, 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 Skittles everywhere. It makes me very happy. But the rainbow film, it kind of makes like a wash of rainbow. And I love it. I love it. Ooh. So when it's rainbow time and I'm at work, I just stop working and I just sit and I look at the rainbows, and it just makes me happy on the inside. Yeah. Stashquisitions. Over the past month and a half or so, I have purchased a few yarns. I purchased a skein of yarn from Nina, Brujeria Lana, and I had to get flickers. So I bought this in her December update, and it is flicker on her broomstick base, which is a sport weight, and it is 100% Highland Peruvian wool. There is 274 yards per 100 grams. So y'all already know that I love her flicker colorway. I made my Kwanzaa sweater. Using, is that dog hair? Yep. I tell you, man, dog hair is like glitter. I made my Kwanzaa sweater using one strand of flicker on her sock base and one strand of a black yarn from Craftsy, I think. Yeah, but I love this colorway. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but, you know, I had to put my elbow pads, knee pads, and helmet on and get into her update. And I was successful. So I have that. Plans TBD. Then I also have these, you know, because of the cozy sock kick that I'm on. Cozy socks will abound, evidently. Yeah, last Thursday I had to go to Lamar's school to help him with something. And when I was leaving, I decided to stop at the Goodwill in Claremont. Since I'm never in Claremont, I was like, let me just stop by. And I'm so glad I did, because I found these. So somebody was getting rid of their entire yarn stash, and they had quite a bit of like these fingering weight yarns. Now these are Patton's Croy socks, Patton's Croy socks in the, covered up the colorway name, I can't remember, but I have I think 4 skeins of this right now, and I kind of keep gathering them, like, because I saw them on sale or on clearance at Michael's or something. So I have quite a few of these now. So when I saw these at the Goodwill, I picked them up, and I want to knit myself a sweater. Yeah, but all of these were 99 cents each. So I have 2 of those, and then I have this one. This is Fibra Natura Gentle Merino. This was like this brand or this yarn was at Tuesday Morning, but I don't know if all the Tuesday Mornings have closed down here, but quite a few of them have, or at least the one near me has. I got 2 of those, and then this one as well is the Fibra Natura Gentle Merino. So yeah, 99 cents each. Yes, please. Yeah. So that is, oh, no, that's not all of the things I want to show you. I want to show you the dip pins that I got. Okay, so I went to the Dollar Tree for something. I don't even remember. Who even remembers whatever they go into the Dollar Tree for? Am I right? But I was in, like, looking at the ink pens, and I saw these. So, which one is this? This is the blue. So they have a set where you get a glass dip pen and a container of ink for $1. And I have seen these before, like fancy glass dip pens. And the first thing I thought was, clearly I will dash that to pieces and it would be terrible. I've also tried to do calligraphy before, and I wasn't like good at it. So I was just like, maybe this isn't for me. But then when I saw it for $1, I thought, I mean, it's $1. If I suck at it, it was only $1. And if I turn out to enjoy it, it was only $1. So this is what it looks like. So it's got a little swirly tip, and you just dip it in the ink, and the ink is captured in those little grooves. And the fun thing about this is that you can just write like a regular pen. You don't have to hold it any kind of way. You don't have to like do anything special. It just writes like a regular ballpoint pen, which was mind-blowing for me. So I actually used the green and the blue in this. So I did the writing and the doodling, and then I did some little doodles of the, what do you call it? Seaweed, using the ink pens, the dip pens. But I thought this was really cool. So I am going to be practicing using this dip pen. And I've watched a couple videos on YouTube about it and what other inks you can use with them. You can use watercolor with them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, and like I said, these are at the Dollar Tree, and I just found these. This is the green one. I just found these maybe a week ago, so it's quite possible that they're still available. And so far I've only seen green and blue. I would love it if there was a black one, but you know, green and blue is fine. I showed my mom and I was like, I'm about to be so fancy whenever I have to sign anything. Like, excuse me. Right? It's gonna happen. But that is everything for my stash positions. And the last segment we have is Plant Mama Life and Whatnot. So, one thing that I have realized is that I'm an emotional shopper. And this is not a new realization. I knew this about myself. With this last month being as mentally exhausting as it was, I found myself wanting to go, like, to shop and to buy things a lot. Before I got into plants, I would buy things like yarn, which is how I have such a collection now. But now that I'm really into plants, I've realized that my emotional shopping has shifted over to emotional plant buying. But the plants, they make me happy. Like, when I stand around them, I feel good. It's a nice routine when it's watering day and I'm going around and I'm checking, you know, who needs to be watered and everything like that. Keeping them clean. Like, it's a good routine for me. Something outside of myself to do. So I'm going to put in a quick little video of the plants that I have bought in the last, let's say, 2 months here. So those are my new babies. They have definitely been very, very good for me. Like, whenever they put out a new leaf, oh, it's so exciting. It's so very exciting. One of the things that I'm really excited about are propagations. So right now I have 2 containers of propagations going. I have this one, which has, let me not dump everything out. So the little bits that you can see in there are leaves that fell off of that echeveria back there. And the green, these are what's known as wet stick propagations. So basically when you have a vining plant and a leaf falls off and there's the vine and there's no leaf, but there's a node, that section is called a wet, like you can do a wet stick. So if you take that and you put it in like sphagnum moss like this, or sometimes even in water, you can root it and grow a plant from it. So these wet stick propagations, I had a propagation box, which was basically just a clear plastic bin that I put sphagnum moss in, and I had some cuttings in, and I just threw these in there. Totally forgot about them. They got buried in the moss. And it wasn't until I went to clean out the box that I found them, and they were like rooting and just doing their own thing. So I put them in here. I can't even remember what they are, but we're gonna find out soon, because that guy, that's a leaf about to emerge. But that's gonna be cool. And then I have this propagation setup, which is like the epitome of crazy plant lady life. I went out to get something out of my car, and I happened to look at the ground, and there were these plants, and they were flowering, and the flowers looked like the same flowers as my Tradescantia zebrina, which is this. Let me not knock stuff over. This. So this is Tradescantia zebrina, and the plant that I found outside had the same kind of flowers. So upon closer inspection, it also has the same leaf structure. So I did what any plant lady would do, and I picked some. And they are some sort of Tradescantia. I haven't been able to completely identify them, but yeah, I have them in here also in sphagnum moss rooting. And yeah, you can see there's a little blossom right there, but a lot of the leaves are dying out, probably because it might actually be too wet in here. So I'm going to leave the lid off for a little bit, but it's putting out roots very well. They're growing new leaves. Yeah, it is definitely too wet in here. Okay, well, you're going to have your lid off for a while. You get to be topless. Anyway, yeah, but this actually got me thinking about how a lot of the plants that we have as house plants are low-key weeds. Like one of the videos that I was watching when I first got my Pilea peperomioides, this guy, this one. I was watching videos on how to take care of it and stuff like that, and one of the things that stood out to me about that was the person was saying how where these plants are native, they are weeds. Like they just run wild, grow in the ditches. They're annoying, you know. They're not sought after. But here on this side of the globe, where they don't just grow naturally, they're houseplants, you know. And the same thing with Tradescantia. Tradescantia is a creeping weed, and it's, what do they call them? Invasive. So if you were to plant to Tradescantia, especially like Tradescantia sabrina and whatnot, if you were going to plant them outside, they would creep and cover the ground and kill any of the other plants that were living down there. So they are an invasive species, but when you take that invasive species and you put it in a pot, it's now a house plant. So I just found that really, really interesting, how it's a matter of perspective, right? So this was a weed in the backyard, but I'm going to cultivate it into a houseplant. But that's everything. I don't have anything else to share with you guys. This is going to be an interesting adventure to edit, but I am very proud of myself for actually getting it done. Yeah. So leave a comment down below of something positive that has happened to you thus far into the year. Leave me bright spots. We need the bright spots. Oh, also, I thrifted this shirt and I was really, really excited about it because I actually went to see the eclipse. This is in 2017, at August 2017. It was like the Great American Eclipse, where you could see like the total solar eclipse. And Lamar and I, along with a couple of our other friends, drove up to South Carolina to be able to see it in the light of totality. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I would totally do it again. Yes. So when I saw this in the thrift store, I rejoiced a little bit on the inside. So that's my bright spot. Thrift wins. So share with me your bright spots, your positive moments, your good things. Put those in the comments because they are very much needed. And I hope that you are having a good week or day or whatever it is. And yeah, thank you so much for being a part of my universe and for staying here with me. Bye, friends.